Hey, Brian Wright Show Nation. Welcome inside the broadcast booth. Hope everybody is doing good, and welcome into Season 2, Episode 3 of Season 2 as we keep rocking along here. Hope everybody is off to a great start, and Happy New Year. My rule, as long as we're in January, I can still say Happy New Year to you, so Happy New Year to everybody out there. Just coming back, spoke for Invisalign in Fort Lauderdale. Thanks to the Invisalign team that put that together. The doctors, business owners, the team members that were in the audience, you did fantastic with all the exercises and role plays. It was a great showing, great attendance, and thanks so much for the wonderful feedback. So it was awesome seeing you guys. We are off to the OrthoFi national event. I am going to be traveling on Wednesday to Denver and delivering a presentation called Unlocking Your Inner Badass, how to be a better version of yourself today in order to thrive with the business of tomorrow. So looking forward to that. Going to have a great audience there for that talk, and hopefully we can get at least 1,000 in the stands, I think is what we're expecting there. Really hoping that we pack the house with that one. It's going to be a great talk. But hey, everybody, today we're going to be talking about something I am very passionate in, and if you can install what we're talking about today into your organization, it's a great way to increase sales, while also, again, getting what you want is not only increasing sales, but also getting people to go spread the word about you, writing reviews, interacting on your social media channels. But how can we, again, going back to taking people and how do we make them a fan base, not a customer base, a fan base. So today's going to kind of be two-pronged. One, how do we get more people to buy from us? And two, how can we use that same philosophy to increase our fan base, not customer base? And we're going to be doing it by diving into something that I want all of you to master out there. And it's all around the most misunderstood terminology in business and how, if you grasp it, you can dominate your competition. So we're going to be diving into today, looking for a great one. And before we get started, let's fire up the music.
Welcome to the Brian Wright Audio Experience, a podcast dedicated to helping entrepreneurs grow their business, make more money, and successfully navigate through the chaos of life, all while working, spending, and stressing less. And now your host. He's a husband, a father of two, an international business and life coach, and a trusted motivational speaker for some of the most respected companies in the world, such as Invisalign and many others. Brian Wright.
Hey, everybody. Welcome in. If you're watching over on our YouTube station, hey there. Hope all is well in lives, careers, and businesses out there. We are just coming out off and I want to give a major shout out to the attendees. We had our very first iconic event here at the Lodge and Flying Horse in Colorado Springs. And man, oh man, I want to give a major shout out to the business owners, their team members that were there. Because we put you through the ringers as far as life exercises, career exercises, business and team building exercises, and really sent you on your way in a very special way for you to be very, very successful and go back and dominate your area. And again, become famous. You know, famous companies were created from three things: culture, training, digital marketing. Boom. There you go. There's the recipe for all of you out there. It's what I teach all over the world. You cannot miss one of them. You've got to have them all in place. All right. And those are separate from what you actually do for a living, right? If you have a fourth component, and that is your service, orthodontist, dentist out there, it's your clinical ability, chefs out there, how good is your food, etc. That will make you completely dominate your area. But, and there's a huge one there, is that if you exist in a commodity, restaurant, realtor, dentist, plumber, lawyer, etc., the quality of your product or service is not the number one thing that's going to determine your success. It is the content you produce online, not pay-per-clicks, the content, the video organic interaction of creating the know, like, trust factor, right? Having a culture internally created from exceptional leadership that's creating a culture where your strategies can actually get implemented better, right? Your playbook is going to get implemented better by your players, your employees, than other people that people could go and spend their money with. And finally, how you train your people. How you train your people how to speak and interact with prospective customers as well as after they buy. Those three things determine your success over the quality of how good you actually are. And the reason is most people that you sell to are not experts at what you do, right? Dentists out there, orthodontists, plumbers, right? You could be a plumber. You go to somebody's house. They don't know if you're a good plumber or not. They just know whether or not they think that you fixed the problem and how good you treated them. Lawyers out there, average person cannot differentiate between a great one and a shitty one, right? Restaurants out there, a little bit different. Most people can determine between really good food, crappy food, and great food, right? But still, even in your universe, it's the other three things that take priority, not meaning that your service or your good is not important. It's not what I'm saying. It's very, very important the more commoditized you are. What I am saying, though, is that that can't be the only thing to your success, which unfortunately for many of you out there, you think that is the case. I can just be great at what I do and everything else is going to fall in place. And it's not true. You've got to have exceptional culture, an exceptionally trained team that knows how to sell while you're unique, and exceptionally organically created content online. Nail those three things, you are going to be very, very successful. And that's what this iconic event was. And I really, really, really was proud of all the attendees and how well you did in all those role play exercises and us handing microphones to people in front of the audience. You handled it really, really well. And I'm very proud of all of you. A couple updates for you. Invisalign, we're going to be doing some great things together. Our relationship is really growing. We're getting amazing feedback from these events. And they're going to have me all over the country and eventually all over the world working on some really cool things with them right now. And like I said, just want to give a shout out to all the listeners and the fans out there. Without you, none of this is possible. So let's get started today. Got a good one for you today. You know, I think everybody on the surface, you know, regardless of the business owner you are out there, I think most people go, I want to be represented well. You know, I want a brand that's known for customer service and hospitality and things like that. I think on the surface, and I'm sure there's exceptions to everything, right? But I think the majority of business owners out there, you would want to charge a high price, but you would want to offer an experience with it that is exceptional, unexpected, and all the things that we teach on here. The problem is taking it from, that's what I want, but you actually going and doing it, because it's extremely hard work. And it's easy to go pay somebody for pay-per-click, right? It's easy to go pay somebody for postcards and mailers, or maybe, you pay a company that dials for you and tries to get you leads. This stuff is easy. The problem with all that stuff is it's all a Band-Aid to the real wound. The goal for all of you, like you hear me talk so much about, is eventually how do you cut off all that crap? How do you not have to advertise, but still grow double digits every year, increase your take-home pay, reduce the chaos, et cetera, et cetera? How do you do that? And it goes back to the three things I talked about. It goes back to exceptional culture, exceptionally trained team, exceptional organic digital marketing content. You do those, and that is a recipe to eventually not have to advertise, or if you choose to, you will maximize your advertising dollar. But there's a key fundamental in sales, and it's a very, very misunderstood term. And a lot of very high-end companies like the Ritz-Carlton, the Montage, and the Montage actually takes it to a different level than the Ritz-Carlton, but not as many people know the Montage. They're smaller, more private from a resort and hotel standpoint. Some use the Ritz-Carlton. Is that the Ritz-Carlton has absolutely nothing set up for any of us when we walk through the door. The misconception is that, they wowed me. They greeted me right when I walked through the door. There was somebody there to take my luggage, and they took it out of my sight, but it magically showed up to my hotel room. Somebody walked me to my hotel room. They opened the door for me. They showed me around the room, all the amenities. They went through like a welcome tour of all the things that my family could do while we were there. They gave us, a concierge phone number. If you need anything, Mr. Wright, we're right here for you. And the misconception is that all of that is set up for, in this case, if I was the customer, for me. And there's a key thing that I want to teach all of you today that is an extremely misunderstood term. And I said in the beginning, it's the most misunderstood. Whether or not it's the most, I don't know. Don't have any factual data, but I can tell working with audience members and customers privately, if you ask them what is the definition of customer service to you, you get 1,000 different answers, right? You ask, and this is all an exercise that you should do with your team. You sit down together in your hourly blocked weekly meeting to work on these unique training of your team and your culture building and your team building, et cetera, to shoot content, digital marketing content. You block that hour and you say to your team, Joey, what does customer service mean to you? Susie, what does customer service mean to you? You have them write it down, and then you go through it. What you will find, and probably you're not surprised by this, is that everybody provides a different answer. Well, there is an actual quote-unquote Webster's Dictionary answer to customer service that this is the most misunderstood term in business by far, in my opinion, is that customer service has nothing to do with your customer getting what they want. And so many of you out there, you make the mistake of screwing up your schedule because you jam a customer in where they wanted. You mess up your day because you gave the customer something you thought they would make them happy. And you're probably sitting there. It's the first time you've probably heard this. And you're going, okay, where the hell is this guy leading towards? And I'm leading one towards the definition, but two, how to use it in your organization to increase sales and also create fans at the same time. So let's look at the definition of customer service, and then we're going to go back to why the Ritz-Carlton example that I talked about has nothing to do with setting things up for you. The definition that you need to create a culture around in your organization of customer service is this. Customer service is when you as a business get what you want from your prospective customers as well as the customers that have already bought from you. Meanwhile, the prospective customer and the customers that already bought from you believe they received more than they expected from you. Now, I want you to replay that definition in your head. I'm going to repeat it. And if you're in your car, you can't do this. Please don't write it down while you're driving. But I want you to do the exercise when you're parked somewhere. I want you to write down what I just said because it's so critical. The more you're commoditized as a business, the more you grasp this definition and the more you embed it into your employees' minds, you will not believe what it will do for your organization over time. And it will completely revamp what it is you're trying to do for your customer. I'm going to repeat it. Customer service, and all of the audience members out there listening, podcast listeners and everything. I want you to write this down, embed it, and remember where you heard it. Customer service is not you doing what you want for the customer. Okay, that falls more on the hospitality side, which I have a podcast, and it may be the difference. It may be the next one. But it's going to be the difference between hospitality and customer service. Hospitality, by the way, is something that fits under the umbrella of offering customer service. It is not the same thing, and being nice is not hospitality. It's one ingredient of 1,000 pieces that go into hospitality, as well as the 1,000 pieces that go into the definition I'm telling you now of customer service. Customer service is when you as a business receive what you want from your customers and your prospective customers. Meanwhile, they believe they received more than they expected from you. Now, if you understand how to master this definition, you also understand, now that you know the definition, why so few companies are actually a company that has a brand for true customer service, right? You take the Ritz-Carlton example I gave you. Everything the Ritz-Carlton does, and back before Walt Disney became a bunch of nut jobs, and if you go there now, they don't even offer a great experience anymore. It's all in the tank. But if you went back in the day, everything Disney did for you, again, it was not for you. It was for them. And what all of you have to understand for your business is you have to set things up for you to get what you want from your perspectives and your existing. Obviously, the perspectives, you want to get people to buy from you at the highest amount possible. So you want the highest sales conversion you can, right? And you should want to convert at the highest levels you can, at the highest dollar you can. And the more you grasp this definition, the higher you can charge, because you'll be understanding that in order to accomplish it, you've got to have an exceptional culture, an exceptionally trained team, and exceptional digital marketing content that you can use to help drive sales. Doesn't exist without those three, right? Now, going back to the Ritz, everything they have set up there is for them to win, right? To get what they want from you, but also give you more than you had ever dreamed of, right? Everything is to get you to leave there having spent more dollars, you leaving there going, I want to go back, you leaving there telling 20 people, oh my God, you will not believe the experience and the go beyond culture that they have there. You believe to go on there and write Google reviews, you leave, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That is customer service. And the few companies that exist out there fully grasp and integrate this into their culture. It's hard. It's not easy. Whenever you move away from unnecessary pay-per-click expenses and dumping money into postcards and TV and radio, when you finally wrap your head around the niche brain mindset that you have to have in order to truly become famous, none of the famous ingredients for you to become famous involve advertising. Nothing. That's the ironic about it, is that 99% of companies are obsessed with advertising. 1% of the companies are actually famous and rarely advertise, and that's why you don't see Ritz-Carlton commercials. That's why you don't see Ritz-Carlton postcards showing up to your door. What they do is culture, training their people how to be unique, great organic digital marketing content. And by the way, the culture pillar, if you will, involves way more. It involves leadership, business mindset, innovation, ambiance of your whole organization. Right. I love when people call us and say, Brian, I want you to come in and I want you to help grow our organization. We want to be the highest dollar. We want to do everything you teach. And then you walk in their doors and the place looked like it came out of 1960. It's got dirty carpet. The chairs look like shit. The food tastes like crap. The waiters, all of you, that's the thing, is that you have to pay attention to everything. So that culture mindset pillar, if you will, involves your place has to look the part. That is a big part of it. And this is just taking your mind from advertising out your doors to advertising in it. And no matter what the statistics say, the majority of mindsets are hard to change, meaning that advertising in it, right? Better service, better trained team, better digital marketing content, better leadership. I could go on and on and on. Always outproduces anything you will do outside your doors. Always. All advertising does is it gets your phones to ring. That's it. That's it. After that, the receptionist and beyond are the ones that actually convert it into a sale. It has nothing to do with the advertising. So the more you get your inside the doors together, the less advertising you have to do, the more organic referral stream that's created. And referrals are always better customers than some random Joe searching Google, clicking on a pay-per-click ad. So you go back to this definition. And as an example, you take a waiter that's properly trained, and you go to one restaurant after another, and whether the food's good or not, we walk away telling my wife, my God, this place is just leaving millions on the table. Like, did you see the way the waiter articulated or didn't the specials? There was no welcome tour through the menu. There was no upselling. There was no ability to speak about the wine menu in a way that makes you feel great and buy more. There was no articulation of the desserts at the end. There's just leaky holes everywhere. Meanwhile, restaurants, and again, I'm using restaurants. This is the first podcast. You'll hear me say it in others. I give restaurant examples a lot. They're my favorite business to work with. I've gone to pro cooking schools. I love to cook. We do it at a high level at the house. I love restaurants, love helping restaurants. But even though we help, all kinds of businesses all over the world, the restaurants are usually my default. And they're also a default because all of you get it, right? There could be, I could talk about an IT company and use their journey as an example. A lot of you wouldn't get it. Restaurants we all get because we've all been there. But if you can take a waiter and you can transform their verbiage skill sets into a thing where it's education about the wine menu, and you teach them how to articulate that in a way, you are going to take tables that would have bought a couple glasses of wine and still get them to buy a bottle. You will take the table that would have bought a bottle for $120. You can teach a waiter how to get them to buy a bottle for $240, right? You can train the waiters on how to get people to buy the specials rather than on menu items. You can train the waiters how to get, 30, 40% of more tables to buy dessert when they otherwise would have walked out. This is an example of customer service. Customer service, you can look at it as a top-level terminology, right? It's a vision, right? I want to get what we want from our customers at high dollar. Meanwhile, I want to provide them more than they would have expected along the journey to sale and along the journey after sale, right? And what you have to do when you think about that is you've got to go, okay, and there's going to be plenty of podcasts what I'm about to talk about because this is a big thing of what I teach. You've got to go, okay, where does it start? Right? And it always starts with the culture inside your organization, because if that isn't right, then you're not a great leader. All the other strategies they're just going to sit there. They're not going to get implemented well. It's just like a sports organization. The playbook only works if the culture is, there to support it. So you've got to have a great culture where it all starts. Then if you look at the journey, you've got digital marketing, right? What are we doing online as it stands today that is offering a go beyond unexpected experience, right? Because if you go beyond and you offer the unexpected, people will call you more, right? So now you win, they win, okay? That's digital marketing. And if you look at every piece of the journey as its own unique business, this is the conversation you must have with yourself, okay? If digital marketing happens, now they're going to pick up the phone and call you, right? Now, you may be a company where they do an online form, and we could talk about all the different options, but I'm going to use the call. Now they call you. How is your receptionist trained to offer an experience that caller would not expect? How does that receptionist, how is she trained on sales, hospitality, consumer psychology, verbiage, presentation, edification, empathy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Because all of those terminologies that I just listed all fall under customer service. Right? Customer service is this definition. It's this vision that I want all of you to have. But then there's all these subcategories, and there's hundreds of them, that your team must be trained on, that you as a business owner must fully grasp. You as a business owner must shoot digital marketing content around. Because again, it's not just about your service or your product. It's all the non-product experiences that inevitably get people to buy from you and stay a fan. Now, obviously, if your product sucks, you got to be really damn good at the non-product stuff to keep them a fan. So again, it's not that the food or the plumbing skills or the orthodontic skills or the realtor skills. It's not that it doesn't matter. It does matter. It does matter. That's part of offering exceptional customer service, right? If the food is better than they would have expected, bam. Right? They're going to spend more money on the food. They're going to come back. They're going to refer if all the other things are intangible too, if you have those in place. So after the phone call, what happens? Phone call's over. Now you have them scheduled. Maybe you're a place where they show up to the door. Maybe you do a Zoom call, whatever it may be. What are you doing during that dead time that would help you achieve getting what you want from them, which may be showing up to their appointment as an example? What are you doing today as a business organization during that dead time that's unique to any other business they've experienced, right? Because if you figure that out, and I'm not going to sit here and give solutions to this today, I'm doing mindset today, and we're going to plug in solutions on further podcasts, right? So if you're doing the go beyond, if you're offering the unexpected and they show up at a higher rate and you reduce your no-shows, guess what? You got what you wanted by delivering them more than they expected. This is the culture you must build in your organization. This is where your mindset must be at any given interaction that you or your team has with a prospective or a customer is, what are we doing that's above and beyond and unexpected that they've never experienced before at this given moment of the journey they're taking with my business? Not just for other companies in your industry, but completely different altogether. Right? Now they show up, they walk through the door. What are you doing on how you greet them? What does your business ambiance look like? If you're a business that has a waiting room, do you make them sit in it, or do you greet them right away with a nice welcome gift and a nice bottle of water, offer to make a cup of coffee, maybe take them on a welcome tour around your business to sell the value, right? Works great for lawyers, works great for healthcare practices, a lot of other businesses. You've got to set up the tour right. That's one of the things that we install into businesses is this welcome tour. Restaurants, it's so fun because the tour goes through the kitchen. The tour goes through, we do a welcome tour of the wine menu. It's just so cool. And all of it is to upsell people. Like, make no mistake about it. It is to sell. But that's the beauty, is that you get what you want. They got more than they expected. And that, again, goes back to, you got to have a great culture. Otherwise, you can train your team all day long. They won't implement it when you're not looking. Great culture, exceptionally trained team, and all these skill sets that inevitably get you what you want, and the customer and prospective customer more than they expected. Right? And after that greeting, when they walk through your door, obviously, there's all kinds of different examples depending on what type of business you are. But I want you to map out, what is the step-by-step journey that people take with us? Maybe they don't call. Maybe they put in their information online. What can you do in response to that that gets them excited about your service, gets them excited about becoming a part of your family, etc.? The biggest takeaway today is I want all of you to fully grasp customer service has nothing to do with you doing what the customer wants. It has everything to do with giving the customer things that they've never experienced before in that given moment in time. Perspective as well. If you want to increase sales, you must fully grasp how your organization can master the definition of getting what you want while delivering more than that person would have expected. It works for any business out there, but the more commoditized you are, the better it works. And this is true, by the way, leaders out there, business owners, people, employees listening that are in a quote unquote leadership position. This definition also goes with how you're treating your team. Like, what are you doing for your team that is unexpected, but that will also get you as a business owner what you want? And this is another podcast for another time, but it's a great leadership lesson. Like, what employee experiences do you deliver where they're like, wow, that's cool. Man, I want to go the extra mile for this guy, this girl, whatever. Podcast for another time, but another little seed I want to plant in your head. These are all the things we teach. And baby, they work, but you've got to get your mind out of pay-per-click and how much can I spend on a postcard? How much can I spend on a radio ad? How much can I see my face on TV? Let's do YouTube pop-up videos, blah, blah, blah. None of it has anything to do with your success. It has nothing to do with how good your product is. It has nothing to do with your culture. It has nothing to do with how you commit to train your team, how to speak in a way that makes you unique. It's got nothing to do with your organic digital marketing content that begins the know, like, trust factor, which are 3 very important words in sales. It has nothing to do with discovery, which is an extremely important word in sales. All podcasts coming, I promise. Today, build a culture of how do we deliver people the unexpected in order to get what we want. And if you do that, you will win regardless of economic conditions, and you will win at a higher dollar than the rest of your competition, which if you follow us and you watch us on stage and blah, 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 you know I'm very passionate about you being the most expensive while also spending the least amount on advertising, also having a higher conversion than your competitors, a higher referral rate, more interaction on social media, more Google reviews than all these other people paying for that crap. You can do it organically. Grasp the definition of customer service, everybody. It is when your business gets what it wants from its perspectives and its customers. And what that is should be more sales at a higher dollar amount, right? Which creates less chaos, higher conversion, which creates less advertising dollars because people become your fans. In addition to that, delivering your perspectives and your customers more than they expected at every given interaction in time. Commit to it. You will not believe what it does. We'll be back with another episode of The Brian Wright Show soon. Hope everybody enjoyed it. See you later. And thanks so much for your partnership out there. Bye-bye. Hey, Brian Wright here. Thanks so much for listening to that episode. And if you're enjoying The Brian Wright Show, do me a favor. Write us a nice 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or whatever major channel you're listening on. And spread the word. Just like we teach you how to create fans, we have a very loyal following, an organic following. We do not pay for advertising or anything like that. So if you would spread the word for us and get people to listen to The Brian Wright Show on whatever podcast network they want to choose, it would mean the world to us, and look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Bye-bye.